Obvious archegoniaphores, antheridiaphores, and this thing is dead as a doornail, almost completely dead, but you can see these little female structures, even though they're brown. So understand what you're looking at. Those are the archegoniaphores. And so this is reproductively active. This is a girl. That would all be fair. Conocephalum is a different kind of phallus type liverwort. That's all. Those are all mosses. Some of them have capsules. So those capsules are the sporophytic stage. I said we didn't have any sphagnum, but it's not really true, because what you'll notice is that all of the mosses that were shipped to us are packed in sphagnum, because if you remember that, I think if I remember right, it was like 15 times its weight in water if it's a normal moss, but it was 40,
72.
what?
72.
Yeah, it was huge. It's like,
Nerd.
Thank you, David. It's a huge amount of percent of water that sphagnum absorbs. So they pack this in sphagnum. That's, of course, dead, but sphagnum by our intents and purposes here in moss, like the video has. But it has some unique characteristics. Those are just all mosses. The ones down at the end are all from my yard, or from Brooker Creek, and some of them are growing on wood, and some are growing on a brick in my walkway, and some are growing on dirt, and all, they can grow on lots of things. It's just when it's wet, they're going to think about reproducing, and when not, very different structures, but they're all mosses, so recognize them as mosses, because I may very well, every lab exam I've ever given, I'll have at least one station. I'll have lots of stations like this. Which one of these are Basidiomycetes? Which one of these are Ascomycetes? Or which one of these are bryophytes? We're going to learning of bryophytes. That's all three phyla. So all of these are. And then I might say which one of these are bryophyta. Wouldn't be, because it's a liverwort. So recognize that. I did bring in some more lichens. If you look at this, which I've been in my garden, you can look at the edges of this leafy liverwort, and you can use this lens and you can see how granular it is. It's making serratia. It's really obvious. These British soldiers, like I had this picture, they're dry and brittle now, but when this is wet, it's spongy. And these little ends are where it's producing serratia. It's the reproductive little structures on there. So these are all just different kinds of lichens again. And these circular things on these bearded ones, these are fruticos, are the apothecia, and these little circles on some of the rest of them, where we got a bunch, are apothecia. Anyhow, they're always going to be the little mushroomy circle things that pop up. And maybe I don't have much on these. You can see it here on this again, this little circular structure. Some of the ones I had the other day, these little horns that are coming out of this lichen are making serratia. So they do it in different kinds of way, and that's the asexual reproduction. When this, which is sometimes called Christmas lichen, is sometimes called Baton Rouge, and if you look at these little speckles in the center of this lichen, that's what's making serratia, these little bumps in the middle. So different ways of doing it. I'll expect you to know what a serratia or an apothecia is. If I put an arrow on it, I have to tell it what kind of lichen is that, what style it's producing. It's reproducing asexually. What would those structures be? And I expect you to tell me it's a serratia, okay? That's what I would expect you to know. The other thing is, these are red algae, right? Because this is red.
No.
No, it's
Thank
always
you.
green algae.
People get that wrong every time. Right? It doesn't matter what color they are. I have this super cool lime yellow green lichen growing on my little slatty fence at home. It's still, they're all green algae. It's always a green algae. Almost always a Ascomycetes. Once in a great while, it's a Basidio. I think there's even a few that are actually zygos, but all of them are going to be Ascomycetes, always with a green algae, sometimes also with a blue-green algae, which is a bacteria that's going to help it do other kinds of things besides photosynthesis. And one last thing, so I want you to recognize that these cool little fungi I couldn't help but pick are going to be what kind?
Asco.
They're going to be Basidiomycetes, right? Because they're shelf fungi. Even though they're really small, they're still shelf fungi. So they're Basidiomycetes. It's not a mold. They're actual little fungi coming out. And the last thing is I brought in my loop. You remember in the video, I didn't explain it very well. All those goofy Belgian guys are sitting there looking at their mosses with this little thing. That's what this is. There isn't a single botanist in the world that goes on the field that doesn't have a loop with them, and that's what they were using. So it's just a little magnifying lens. You can get them at different powers. This is at 10 times power. And if I was in the field, I carry several. I always have one with me no matter where I'm at. And you can look at these things up close. That's what they were doing in the video all the time when they were staring up close to this little thing. So anyhow, that is what it is. So finish up.